The DeadEye VR Golf Club. Here's a real review for you right from 2022. It's the most current one out there, and this is something you're going to want to watch before you buy this thing, because I love it, but there are some things that I never thought of before getting it, and that's what I'm going to go over now. So here it is, fully assembled, ready to go. It's on my desk, and my dog really wants to tear it apart. We'll get to that in a second. You'll see that the rubber band is keeping the strap in place. We'll get to that in a second. But this is a real rubber grip that feels like a golf club. It's not plastic. It's not machine made. This is a rubber grip that feels normal. The problem is, like I said, my dog really just wants it. We'll get to that. But look at him. I mean, he stalks this thing. Starting off with the rubber band, this is something that people had said originally in any of the videos that I had seen, that it was for holding down the grip button. That is not the case. I realized very quickly it's not to hold down the grip button. There's actually a way to do that in the game without even touching your controller. This rubber band is to keep your wrist strap from, flinging all over the place. That's all. So that's how you'll use it. But I did want to mention this. I did not think about kids or pets. This is my dog, Clyde, and he's a 17-pound terrier. Now, before I bought this thing, I would just have the controller in my hand, and I'd let him in the room. He would wander around, and usually he would just kind of end up, either at my feet or on the chair, kind of sleeping or whatever. But this thing now is at a height where if he's even sitting in front of me, I'm going to smash him. If I take a full hack with this, I'm going to give him a concussion. So he's no longer allowed in the room, and that's something that is really a bummer for me. Because I just can't have my headset on and trust that he's not right there at my feet. That's something you're going to want to think about. Assembly and disassembly. Now this is... I want to talk about this because it's not the worst thing in the world to put this on and to take it off. Okay, you run the wrist strap through the little cup. Either side works. I like the wrist strap on the right and the DeadEye strap on the left. That's the DeadEye strap right there. You want to pull it all the way tight. All the way till the buckle is at the end. And now I didn't get the best angle of this, but the strap goes inside the cup like that and then back over on the outside. Then through the buckle, and then you're going to pull it back up and tight like your life depended on this thing. Okay? And I mean really tight. I thought I had it tight, and I took a full hack, and the thing kind of moved around a little bit. And I was like, oh, no. But if you do it really, really tight, you're good to go. This is how it should look. The rubber band goes here, making sure that that strap isn't flinging around. But the problem with this is now to remove all of this stuff, it's not the end of the world. It takes about 25 seconds. But notice on the desk, I have these other MAMUT straps that I have to have on my controller. Having a bare controller like this feels naked. So for me to play any other game, I'm going to have to take this DeadEye off and then put on these things. Now, if you haven't heard of these, check it out. Go over to the website. I'll leave a link in the description. But they're a game changer. You don't have to. They're basically they turn your Quest controllers into knuckles. And if you don't know what I mean by that, they're basically you don't have to hold them anymore. They are just, they sit on your hand and you can let go. But it's a pain in the ass trying to get these things back on. This is at 8 times normal speed. I'll go ahead and just tell you this takes 2 minutes and I think some odd seconds. I'll put it here and I'll post it in a second. But you can see that this is a real big barrier of entry to playing another game other than golf games. And this is something I didn't think about. The amount of time that it would take, 2 minutes and 8 seconds just to get these back on. My recommendation is to have a third controller set up for the DeadEye, and then you're all good to go. If you don't play with these kind of accessories, then don't worry about this. But if you're somebody that uses them, well, is it worth it having to do this the whole time? Let's get into the game and check it out. First thing that you're going to want to do is go over to the settings, top right cogwheel, and then click controls, and then you're going to select whatever controller you're using. This second one here is the DeadEye VR Golf Club. You're going to click that so that it's selected, and then that's literally all you need to do. This now feels regular. It feels just like my hands are at where they should be on the club. If I were to go back inside and change this to no controller, like the default setting, now it feels like the golf club is 8 inches in front of my hands. It's so much longer now. And so what they do is they basically compensate for how far down the controller is when you're holding the DeadEye. So you have to switch over the controller. And that's the one thing that this game I think is just awesome for doing. Thank you for doing that. So we go over to the controls, we set it up, and we're good to go. We got that selected. Now you can see me here in the corner, and I'm all ready. I want to do this. Like, let's get after it, right? Got a couple practice hacks. I'm hitting the ground, trying to feel where the ground is. This is a big part of using this controller. One of the things I didn't realize is that you're going to have to choke up on certain shots. When you're hitting a driver, this is me just making sure my surroundings are all good and I'm not getting any kind of guardian, because I don't like to see that in my backswing. It's like somebody coughing. Like, you don't want to have something like pop up in your vision right as you're about to swing. You'll see that I have to use 2 hands to use the grip. But once I get my line, I'm good to go. And I'm ready to kind of, just treat this like a round of golf. But remember, when you're out playing with your friends and you're at an actual golf course, you don't have a guideline, right? You have to go create your own. So if you're wondering like, oh, I don't have anything to use. Well, yeah, pretend it's real golf. Find a spot on the ground. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm lining up a spot on the ground to go ahead and give me my line so I can set my feet. And now I know, just trust my feet and go ahead and take a hack. So there we go. Smashy, smashy down the middle. No big deal. It feels so good to take a full swing with what feels like a golf club and some weight at the bottom now because the controller's down below. It feels good, y'all. And this is the big part that I wanted to show you guys. So what I'm doing is setting up the shot. I'm looking and I'm seeing how many yards it's telling me compared to how many yards the club gives me. And then that's just the percentage that I'm going to swing. So here we go. I'm lining up my shot now, picking a spot on the ground. You see, I'm just choosing to look at that little spot. And then when I get back over the ball, I'm still looking at that spot and drawing that line. So now I know to keep my feet parallel to that. And then when I look away, I just trust the line of my feet. So now I'm good to go. I'm about to line up, take a shot, and let's rip this thing. No shoot. So what happened was I thought I took a pretty good hack, but I didn't trust my hands. And that's something that you'll see in the next iron shot. Not here, but I didn't trust my hands, and so they went way left. I was just kind of, I don't know, I wasn't dialed in, and that happens sometimes on a shot, just like in a golf course. So I hooked it way left. All right, well, let's see what happens if we can recover. Let's get this thing back up on the green. I want to pull down the spin, make a high spin rate so that it's going to spin backwards and really stick. I do that for really any shot that's approaching the green. And I choke up for this. If you do not choke up, you're going to chunk it. All right, so that's the one piece of advice I want to use for putting and chipping. You've got to choke up. I at first wasn't choking up, and I was just kind of backing up and letting it be the distance between myself and the ground, and it was chunking. And I was like, oh, man, are you serious? I didn't even know you could chunk it in this game, which means, you're hitting the ground before the ball. If you choke up, it's not a big deal at all. I just chipped that in. Perfect. No big deal. So that's my big advice for chipping and putting. Make sure you choke up or you're going to hate this thing. I at first was going to throw it against the wall and never put it back on again because I was so much worse chipping and putting. But no, you just got to choke up and then you'll love it. So now I'm going to hit a draw, or at least try to. We've changed that. We've got the shot shape ready to go. I've got my line, and I'm going to smash. Here we go. Let's see if we can do this thing. Left my hands open. All right. Remember, with a draw, you've got to be inside to outside on your swing path, and I didn't do that at all. And so, of course, it didn't reward me. It gave me what it would happen in real life is I'm over here in the rough. So we're going to recover again. Now, again, I'm looking at the distance that it's telling me when I press B and the distance that the club gives me. Okay, and then I'm hitting that percentage instead of a full swing. If it's 170 yards on a 170 club, then I'm going to swing 100%. If it's 150 yards away on a 170 club, then I can only swing about, 80, 85%. So that's how you dial in your distance right there, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure that I've got a good line. Now that I do, I trust my feet. And the best thing I want to show you is that when you, well, you know what? Let's take a shot first. Smash. Right at it. Oh, be right. Oh, be right. Oh, be right. God, it feels good. I'm not going to lie to you. When you hit a shot like that, you get chills. You just saved yourself, and now you've got a putt to really save yourself. So the problem is you're not touching the controller, so all you have to do is raise the club towards the air, and now you'll get your sight lines as if you were holding the grip button, and if you raise it even higher, you'll see the distance and the uphill or downhill. This is incredible. Once you're on the green, you no longer have to touch your controller at all. That was going to be a huge barrier for me. I didn't want to have to, you know, mess with this thing every time I needed to touch a button. There's an option here that you don't even have to. Just raise your club head toward the sky and get your lines so that now when you're standing over the ball, you can do it again. You can raise, I think I did it again. Let's see, I've got my line and I hit it like a baby. Way to go. Way to go, grown man. God, that's frustrating. So all I'm doing is raising the club here and I'm seeing the sight lines of the green. Don't have to press anything. You don't need the rubber band to hold down any kind of buttons or anything. That's not what it's for. All right, so we saved par. One more hole. Let's see what happens here. I wanted to make sure to go over everything. So I'm approaching the green, so I set my spin to a higher rate so it'll stick. I'm getting my percentage of what the club says it's going to be. I've got my sight line. I'm good to go. All right. All I have to do is raise my club, and I can see where the flag is. That's the beauty of it. It's not just on the green. So I whiffed, and I'm like, you know what? God, why am I so bad with my irons here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Remember the trick I figured out. I want you to try to pinch the front of the ball, not the ball that's towards your the side of the ball that's towards your club, the side of the ball that's towards the hole. Try to pinch it right now. And if you can do that, it's going to keep you straight. And look how straight that is. Oh, yeah, that's going to get your club face exactly where you need to be. I'm on the green. Don't try to hit the ball on the side that's facing your club. Try to pinch the front of the ball, and that'll get your club face to come through. If that helps anybody, I want you to comment below. I really hope it does. All right, so let's do some putting again. Right now I'm holding the club to the sky, and I've got my sight lines. I don't have to press any buttons if you see me down below. I'm just holding it upwards. I'm getting a good line. And this is really downhill, so if it's 20 feet, you know, I only want to hit it as if it was about 12 to 15 feet and let it trickle down. That's really tough to do, but if you can envision your hole being shorter than it actually is, that will help you. Boom. No big deal. Birdie! And I'm feeling good about it. All right? It's that easy, folks. I don't know what to tell you other than you got to get this thing. I thought at first that I was going to hate it, because it took a lot of time to get on and off, and it's kind of I don't really want to have to do this every time I play a different game. I'm just going to get a second controller. It's only $70 for this thing. If you've got that money, then go ahead and buy yourself a third controller, not a second one. Get yourself a third controller so this can just sit there and be ready, and you can just have it. And anytime you play a golf game, you can just pick it up and go. That's my recommendation to you. And if you can do that, you're going to love this thing, and then you won't have to take it on and off every time you play another game. I absolutely love it. I hope you do too. And if you do, go ahead and drop a comment below. Good luck, and I'll see you out on the course. Let's make it rain.